my biggest property fail. So I was asked this question last week by someone called Marianne through a messenger. Have you ever had a property fail? And so I had to go back into the memory bank, and it goes back probably around 20 years ago when I was first getting into the game, and it was in a suburb called Toorak. Now, if you know anything, if you're from Melbourne, Toorak, it's like the preeminent suburb in Melbourne. Massive homes, been in families for generations. It's just wealth, and it's opulent, but it's genteel. Anyway, I got a phone call one day asking if we could do some work on a property in this well-known road. I said, sure, what were you thinking? And I was wondering whether they were preparing for sale. In this instance, it was being prepared for a party. So it was to pressure wash the whole outside of the property, which was massive, driveways, house, fences and everything. So we're talking acreage in this area. Pressure wash the house, do windows inside and out, some painting works, and there was a few other things in there. Anyway, it was a huge job, but we had a 3-day timetable to get it done. And the reason it was being done, it was being prepared for a party. The lady speaking to me, she wasn't the homeowner, she was the personal secretary to the person who owns it, which I'd never actually met. Anyway, this person owns a big company, and they were overseas at the time. So anyway, organised the dates and the time, and we had to be on time with this one. And so I said, look, can I come out and have a look? They go, look, you can't do that, but we'll get the butler to film everything. So I told him what I wanted, he filmed it all, sent it, we were able to give a price, and it was accepted immediately. So anyway, we arrived, I had a large team, and everything is going full swing. And on that first day, it's critical that you break the back of it. And so we had tons of guys on site. Anyway, we started at 7, and I think it was around 9:30 or 10 in the morning. I get a phone call from overseas, which I didn't recognise, and it was the owner of the property. He said, is this Peter? And I go, yeah, sure. Who am I speaking to? And he goes, we're at this address. I just wanted to know where you are. And I go, what do you mean? We're on the property. We've been here since 7 this morning. He goes, well, my butler called me, and he'd been in some meetings overseas. And he said to me, the guys haven't arrived. I go, yeah, we're going full swing. And he goes silent for a sec, and he said, when the butler gave the address, did he mention anything about the common shared driveway? And I said, no, not really. Why? He said, it's one driveway, but did it veer off to the left or to the right? I go, it veered off to the left. He goes, okay. When these houses were built, it was in the early 1900s. He said, they're exact copies of each other. So it was, I think it was family members. Anyway, whatever the story was, they looked the same. He goes, we own the one on the right. I think the one you're at is on the left. And I was like, oh, you're kidding me. So anyway, I said, look, I'll be over in a bit. So we packed everything down, told the guys, they laughed. And as we were packing up, this lady walks out the door with some drinks for us. And she said, are you meant to be next door? And I go, yeah, just found out. Who are you? She goes, I own this property, my husband and I do. I go, okay. I was thinking, why didn't you tell us? She goes, yeah, I got off with my husband about 10 minutes ago. And I mentioned to him how quickly you guys were working, because I'd been at him for ages to do the work. He goes, I haven't organised anything. And it clicked that you were meant to be next door. Apparently they get parcels and other things. So anyway, she knew for about 10 minutes that we weren't supposed to be there. And I said, why did you come and say something? She said, well, I was really amused. I wanted to see how far you go before you figured it. Anyway, my loss, their gain. Stupidest thing I've ever done. So now I definitely go and check out a site before we begin work, especially for Butler extending the footage.